Hi guys, so I don't want to sound like a bitch, so I'm gonna keep deleting this until I don't sound like a bitch. So if this is uploaded, it means that I don't think I sound like that much of a bitch. So I've got wet hair, so that's why I look shit, because I've just got out of the shower. But moving on from that, and also I haven't done my makeup and I always look shit on this channel, but moving on from that, I'm going to be talking to you about all of my encounters, sexual encounters, and just encounters in general. So I'm going to go right from my very first boyfriend. So at 15 I got a really fuckboyish boyfriend basically. Now it like obviously he was too young to be like a proper fuckboy, but he tried to be a fuckboy basically. So I met up with this guy who was quite short actually, like he was really short. I think he was 14 and I was 15, and like he had some really nice friends. Like one of his friends was like one of my best friends, and how we got together was I basically said, because I was so childish, I was like, "Do you fancy me?" He was like, "Yes," and I was like, "Okay, do you want to be with me?" It was literally just like that. Like I was so childish, and he was just like, after that we were together. And this is where it gets funny. Basically, every night we'd send each other "I love you," and we'd only known each other a few days. But then, like, a week being together, we had like our first kiss, and we held hands, and he touched my bum, that sort of stuff. Nothing else, literally just kissing and touching bum. That's literally it. And then a week later, we just basically just kissed very, very, very rarely. Literally, I think we only kissed like 3 times, and it was like drunk each time. That's how awkward I was, and that's how awkward he was. And then this shitty guy, basically, I was in my bedroom and I was like, "Oh, sorry, I can't meet you today because I feel really rough." I think it was my anxiety, but I've made up an excuse, I think. And he was like, "Okay then, love you, see you tomorrow," or something. And then I go on Facebook and scroll down my news feed, and he'd screenshotted a message he'd sent to this girl. And it was like, "Hey, I really fancy you. It was nice meeting up with you today. You're really pretty. Be with me," or something like that. And she was like, "Aren't you still going out with that girl?" So that was my first boyfriend. After that, he messaged me. Actually, I think I messaged him and I was like, "Oh, well, what was the post about?" And he was like, "Oh, I want to go out with this girl. I still love you." Literally, it was like, "I still love you," but oh, it was so 15. "I still love you, but I want to be." So I was like, "Okay, fuck that." So that was it. And like after that, I used to message like the stereotypical fuck boys because I wanted to like get with these fuck boys because they were really good looking. But they used to reply, but it would be like short, shitty replies, if that makes sense. So it'd be like, it would either be about 10 kisses or short and shitty, like, "Sorry, can't talk right now. I'm getting some nuggets out my fridge," or something stupid like that. And I'd just be like, "Okay, that's blatantly obvious that you don't want to talk to me. You could have just said, you could have just been upfront. It's fine." But obviously, once they'd replied, I'd reply and reply and reply and reply. I would like be so childish until I got to the age of 17, and that's where I met my first real boyfriend. He wasn't a shitty guy, so I skipped past him. He was really, really lovely. Like, he was the best person that I'm ever going to meet. He was so kind, so understanding. He was just everything that I could ever want. But that didn't work out because he went to uni, and also our anxiety also played a big factor because I couldn't go down to him. It was him coming down all the time to me because he lived quite far away, so that ended. Moving on from that, I actually, before I got with that guy, I met up with this. Actually, there's 2 people I met up with. So when I was 17, the first guy I met up with was this guy that basically I said I fancied him and he said he fancied me. So we went to a field and we started making out, and we made out for about an hour, but it was really shit. Like, I did not know how to kiss at all. Like, I was 17, I was clueless, I did not know how to kiss. Like, it was like tongue action, just fucking terrible, mate, just terrible. So that was really shit. But then that got called off because, like, the next day, my sister told me that he told her boyfriend that he was going out with this girl. Like, he'd literally just started going out with the girl, like, or like at least trying to go out with the girl the day later. So that was really childish. He was about 21, I was 17, so I was more mature than he was. I think he was 20 actually. It was the shittest kiss I've ever had. I think both of us felt that. Like, he thought I was really shit at it. He even said that I was a bit shit at it. I was like, just be honest with me, I'm shit, aren't I? And he was just like, basically, yes. So after that, I met up with this other guy with my friend, and he was so fit, he was so good looking, but I got really drunk and he tried to kiss me, and because I got told that I was a shit kisser beforehand, I was terrified. Like, I pulled back, didn't want to kiss him, didn't kiss him. I said, sorry, I'm a shit kisser. I was just up front, said it. And after that, he didn't speak to me ever again. Because I literally pulled away, didn't want to kiss him. Every time I tried to message him, he completely blanked me out. So I was like, okay, fine, another shitty dickhead. It's fine. I've literally had such shit experiences with men. Okay, so skipping past my lovely boyfriend, which happened just after that. Well, not just after, like 6 months after that. I met up with, let me try and think, I don't even know now. Okay, the next shitty guy that I met up with was literally a fuckboy. I was, basically I was really, really heartbroken, but I got over it quite quickly. Like, I was heartbroken, but I wasn't that bad, basically. Like, I was average heartbreak. And I went with a fuckboy because I thought, well, fuck it, I need to lose feelings for my ex, or at least try to lose a bit of feelings for my ex. So about, I think it was a month later, yeah, it was a month later, I had sex with a fuckboy. And it was a good experience, like, the sex was good, but he, after meeting me once, he'd say he'd meet up with me again, and he'd suddenly cancel last minute, and then he'd meet up with me sometimes. I was so nice, like, I'd give him a second chance. I'd be like, okay, come round tonight, even though you didn't turn up last time, might as well come round tonight. And then he'd do the same thing the next time and the next time. And then I found out he was talking to this girl whilst he was talking to me, and somebody told me that she was actually his girlfriend. I don't know what to believe. He also had something on his profile saying "I love you, baby" or something on his bio, and he said, oh yeah, this girl got really drunk and wrote it on there. So that was another shitty guy that I went with. But to be honest, I was a bit foolish because I kept seeing him in between other people that I was seeing, basically. So here goes on to the next shitty guy. So the next, really, this one was, oh my gosh, this one was the most shittiest guy that I had ever met. And I was 18 and he was so shit. It made me cry. It was that shit. Okay. So I met this guy on Tinder. And don't worry, this isn't my ex, this is just a guy that I hooked up with. So I met this guy on Tinder. He was really good looking. Everything seemed okay. He'd get sort of obsessive with me, which was better than me getting obsessive with him. So he'd send me lots of messages and say, oh, why aren't you replying? And I was just like, okay, I've been asleep, sorry. Like, I'm such a sleepy person. If I don't message you back, I'm asleep, or I'm literally busy. or I don't want to talk to you because you've been nasty or something. But I don't genuinely ignore people unless I don't know them at all and I don't want to lead people on. And I'm not being funny, like the people that message me that I don't reply back to are usually people that really don't make an effort with themselves. I feel like everyone can make an effort. Like some people can wash their hair, some people can do their makeup, at least for a picture. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not. That's me being the bitchiest that I can be on camera, because otherwise you guys are gonna know I'm a bitch. I'm not actually that much of a bitch. I just say what I think, basically. Part of my autism as well. So I've lost my train of thought now. What was actually going on about? Oh yeah, okay. This shitty guy that I met on Tinder. So the first time we'd flirted, so we knew that something could happen because we'd sort of, given each other the hint. So he started driving around, and the plan was we'd drive around and park up somewhere and do some stuff in the car. But that never worked out. We didn't bother doing that. We just went back to his place. And his place was actually really, really nice. Like, we played a bit of gaming. We gamed. And I ended up giving him a blowjob. And he was quick, if you know what I mean. So that didn't last long at all. I was quite thankful, to be honest, because usually I'm there for quite a while. I can't believe I'm saying this, but oh well. So after that, he was just like, oh, I've got to work tomorrow, I can't believe this, blah, blah. He was like the most moany guy I have ever met, and I've met some moany men, but this guy was so moany. Like, you'd think he was going to die the next day, and he really didn't want to. That's how bad his moaning was. So after listening to him moan, I just laughed it off and got in his car, and he took me home. So we met up after that about a week later, because we'd like sent flirty messages back and forth, and he'd be busy working and I'd be busy sleeping, basically, because he'd try and contact me and I'd be asleep, or he'd be working when I tried to contact him. I think that's how it went down. Anyway, we met up again, and this bit's really embarrassing. I can't believe I'm going to say this on camera, but oh well. So we met up in person again, and obviously in person, how else would you meet up? And we had sex. And basically, I brought condoms with me, and basically, he started complaining. He was like, oh, my dick really hurts. Like, sorry for the language, but he made me feel like I had a flipping STI. He was like, oh, my dick is stinging. And I was like, well, that ain't right. I said, are you sure it's not the condoms? And he was like, oh, well, I've used these condoms before. And I was like, well, it's not me, because my vagina has gone nowhere near. I didn't say that at the time because I could not think straight. I was just like, oh god, maybe I have got an STI, but my vagina never went anywhere near his penis, so it was the condoms, not my vagina. So yeah, I definitely don't. I got checked out straight afterwards. I had nothing, so that can fuck off, basically. So after that, I tried to contact him, and I left it a week. And then I thought, you know what, to get his attention, I'll send him a naughty message, because he was really fit, but he was an arsehole. I don't know why I did this. Literally, I look back now, and I'm like, what kind of a prat would make you feel like you have an STI? Like, that was an ultimate prat. So, yeah, I started worrying for a whole week. I was like, oh, I've really fucked up here. Maybe I've given him an STI, even though I fucking made him wear a condom, so I didn't. Anyway, I messaged him with a flirty message about a week later, and his reply was, excuse me? What? Excuse me? I had your dick in my mouth a fucking week ago, and now you're acting like you don't even know me. After that, I sent him a shitty text, and then I blocked him, and I never even messaged him ever again after that, because I thought, well, you're just... literally, it hurt me, it made me cry, because of how blunt and shitty he was. But to be honest, I'm just so easily hurt anyway, so... But to be honest, if somebody's nice, and they let me down nicely, it's so much easier. Like, the nicest ex that I've been with, it was so much easier to let him go, because he was so kind. But this guy was an absolute cunt fuck. He was just so shit. It was unbelievable. So he can fuck off. He fucked off forever. I never spoke to him again. Never will either. Okay, so I think I missed out a guy. I sound like a right slapper, but I don't even care. So a guy before him, basically, had this friend of like 2-3 years, or probably longer. Well, it was longer, but we didn't really know each other. Like, we started knowing each other when I was 17, and then we hooked up, basically, when I was 18. But I think, yeah, okay. So I think it was just before this guy. So I was 18 when I hooked up with him. So basically, it was really quite crappy sex. Not gonna lie, I acted like it was good, but it was actually a bit shit. Like, there was no, like, chemistry there. Like, I felt weird kissing him, but I liked his personality so much that I could have quite happily slept with him again. Like, well, we did. We slept with each other for, like, 2 weeks on and off, like, every other day. He'd come round and we'd sleep together again. I think that's pretty much how it went down. But literally, he is such a shitty, slow replier. He was such a shitty, slow replier. And I can't remember what really set me off. I think I told my sister that I went with him. When I told him I wouldn't, because basically his best friend is her boyfriend. So I told my sister I went with him, and it pissed him off. I think that's how it went down anyway. Oh yeah, and when I got with my ex, I'm trying to think about when all this happened. When I got with my ex, my dickhead of an ex, which I'll come to, he's told me some things about my ex that pissed me off, basically, because it was sort of to turn me against him, even though it was probably true what he was saying. But he told my sister before he told me, which really pissed me off. So we had an argument. Well, he didn't really respond because he was a shit texter anyway, but when he did respond, he said something really shitty and then blocked me. And obviously I tried to keep in contact with him because I did enjoy his company when we were friends, but being a prat like that just can't be asked, to be honest. So that one went out the window. I seriously can't think. Who else have I been with? Flipping heck, I'm like a right slapper. Okay, let's just go right on to the world's worst man that I can think of. So I went on Tinder and I met this guy. It was my ex. It started off really nice. Like, we got on really well. He said he had anxiety issues and some other shit that I didn't understand. He didn't even tell me the right name for the other shit, and I won't go into that, but that other shit was a main part of the story, but I can't mention it, basically. His illness, basically, because that wouldn't be fair of me to talk about it. So basically, I was open to this experience. I was like, oh yeah, we might as well just hook up. If we like it, then see how it goes. If not, then leave it. I feel like that's like the best way to like know if you want to be with someone. Maybe I'm just a slag, but oh well. So this year I'm gonna rewatch this and hate on myself so much. I'm not like this if you meet me in person, but because I'm doing this video, I feel like I have to get everything out, even if it does sound chavvy. So he came round, we put on a load of movies, and we were like lying there for about 2 hours before either of us made a move. And then we did make a move. We had sex, obviously, the first time we met up, and after that it just moved really fast. We were just totally in love. Well, I was. He'd just be so kind and lovely for the first month we were together, but then things took a turn. He'd say things that made me feel really thick. Like, he'd say something and say, no, you're definitely wrong about this because of this. I can't believe you thought this. I'm definitely clever than you, more clever than you. He actually said that he was more clever than me. And I said, the word cleverer, and he was like, that's not a word. I said, yes it is. And I looked it up and actually found out it is a word. So who's the stupid one now? So he'd just be like, he'd take me places, and like I'd accidentally push a door that says pool, and he'd be like, oh my god, I can't believe you just did that, that's so stupid. And then like walking across the road, he'd be like, I can't believe you nearly got yourself run over, that's so stupid. And just stuff like, oh, I can't believe you said that you know this person when you don't actually know this person, you always think you know everyone. Stuff like that. And it would just really get on my actual wick. And but the thing is, like, I was so in love with him because he told me stuff that made me feel sorry for him, and like I just wanted to like look after him because of his mental health, and I just got really attached to him because of all of what he was saying and everything. And he was just saying things like, oh no, like we'll move out together, we'll make sure our house is beautifully clean, because obviously I live in like a flat and it's not exactly the tidiest flat, and I was complaining about how my mum struggles to keep it tidy. I wasn't hating on my mum, I was just saying it stresses me out sometimes. And he was, because my mum has bipolar, and he was saying how we'd have this house and it'd be clean, and he was saying how he wanted to move out soon and that I should go and work where he works, and he introduced me to all of his friends. We were together for 3 months, and it was like the best / worst 3 months of my life, because on New Year's Eve, so when the bells chimed for 2019, I snogged him because he pulled me closer to him and then we kissed. We just argued. We were arguing, which is what I find really weird. We were arguing, yet he still pulled me in to kiss him when the bells chimed. And I remember literally thinking in my head, I'm not sure if I want to be with this guy for the rest of my life. I didn't even make it a good kiss, to be honest, because I was just so focused on my own head because of the argument we were having. And it was all about the rumour that I'd heard, basically. And it wasn't about like sleeping with anyone else, and I'm not going to say what it was. It was a really shitty rumour that only came from one person and just got told by another person, then come back to me. And the person that had told the person was a bit of a psychopath. But apparently, I don't know, because all these people, the person that knew the person is a bit weird as well. The person that I mentioned in this story, there was another guy, basically. The guy that was a dickhead to me, one of the guys that was a dickhead to me in this whole story, was an ex of this girl that said something really shitty about my ex, basically, if that makes sense. That was a long tongue twister. Anyway, I don't really know what to say, because basically this ex of mine was the worst person I've ever met in my whole entire life. It broke my absolute heart when we broke up. It ended in a day. It was so childish, it ended in a day. I ended it expecting us to talk things through, but I ended it and it was almost like he'd literally met someone else straight away. And straight afterwards I was like trying to convince him to get back with me, and then I left it about 2 weeks and I said something like, because he literally blunted me out, ignored me, made me feel like shit, and I was like, fuck this, I'm sleeping with someone else. So I slept with a dickhead, basically. Basically, he was a bit of a dickhead, the guy that I slept with. And I still know the dickhead, and I still sometimes sleep with him, actually. He's not as much of a dickhead as the other men I've mentioned in this, but he is a bit of a dickhead. So I slept with him, and I told this guy, and I said, oh yeah, well, I said to my ex, I was like, oh yeah, I slept with this guy, to try and get him jealous. But instead of him getting jealous, he said, yeah, I've slept with someone too. That fucked me right up. It literally broke my heart. Like, he knew I wanted him back, and he told me the name of the girl he slept with. He knew I wanted him back, and he knew I was trying to get him back, and I was saying things like, I just feel like sleeping with someone else because of how shit I feel. He knew I was saying all of that. If he wanted me back, he would have said, oh, don't do that, oh, I'm sorry, blah blah blah. He knew what I wanted to do, and he told me about something that was going to make me feel even more damaged. It made me feel damaged. It made me feel like I was worthless, like I am not worthy of anyone, like I wasted my anxiety energy on this guy to really push myself out of my comfort zone, and it fucked me up hugely. I got a sickness bug straight afterwards, a few days afterwards, and I felt so shit. It was unbelievable. I just felt so shit. I cried all day long, all night long. I was devastated. My mum was just like, he's just a cunt, he's selfish, like, why are you even wasting your thoughts on this guy? Like, I knew he looked like a dickhead, just leave it, just, you know. And my mum never says anything bad about anyone, but she saw how bad he made me feel, and it really, that is the one that most fucked me up. Like, he fucked me up the most. Told me, sweet talked me, told me he loved me, had me stay over there. Even though I have autism, I get really anxious staying around places. I have OCD extremely bad. He knew what I was like. He knew that he read my messages to the guy that I went with, the dickhead guy that I went with before. And he knew that I get obsessive, yet he still did that to me, still brushed me off as quick as you could click your fingers, telling me who the girl was, telling me he didn't love me anymore, telling me he did love me and that I did mean something, but now I mean completely nothing to him. Basically taught me that sex means nothing to some people. And to be honest, there's been men that I've slept with that haven't meant anything to me, but if you're sleeping with someone for 3 months in a row and you're telling someone that you love them and you always want to be with them, and you're explaining your anxiety and helping the other person with their anxiety, at least trying to, and if you're telling people secrets and trying to trust them, and, you know, he told me a load of secrets, and that really meant something to me because I felt like I was important. But then I found out when we'd broken up that he kept a massive secret from me, that he knew I wouldn't have said anything if I had have known. Like, his friend had his own child, and I didn't know this, and I'd met up with his friend quite a lot. I don't fault the friend for not telling me, but I do fault my ex, because my ex knows that I'm not someone that will blab. Do you know what I mean? So me finding out that he'd kept that secret from me fucked me up as well. I was already fucked up by then anyway. I'd already cried my eyes out for months. I cried my eyes out for months on this guy. Sometimes I still cry about it, and it's 6 months later. That's how real this relationship felt. Like, I got on train rides with him, and for my anxiety, that's mental. That must mean that I really care about someone deeply if I'm going on public transport for that person. I was going on train rides to his place and back with him. I was doing things that really, really pushed me out my comfort zone. I went to a gaming shop, and I never go in shops. If I do go in shops, it's really quickly, like to get alcohol or some food. I don't go in shops long at all. I even went in a shop by myself to get alcohol for us, and because he didn't have his ID, and that freaked me out so much because I hate doing things like that. And I did it because I loved him and I cared about him. I bought him a pair of shoes. He bought me a new phone, the one that I'm recording this on. But I went out with him one night, clubbing, and he was so horrible. Like, he was actually so horrible to me. He was so pissed, and he told me to get my own fucking self home, even though he knew he was the one that had to pay for me. I even said, like, I can't come out tonight because I haven't got any money, and he was like, I'll pay for everything. And he told me he'd pay for my taxi home, but he said, I'll definitely get it back with you, I won't let you go home on your own, or blah blah blah, because like if you start feeling bad we'll both go back, that type of thing. But as soon as I said, like, because he was flirting with other girls after we'd broken up, the girls he was flirting with, he told me that he wanted to sleep with them, or he had in the past, or was going to in the past. And that really fucked me off. Like, you can imagine how annoying that is, that someone literally lied to your face saying, oh, that girl means nothing to me. Like, this girl ran up to him and put her legs around him. It fucked me off so much being with him, seeing that. It just pissed me off, and it was the most annoying thing that you could possibly imagine. Like, and this one girl that he said meant nothing to him as well, who he was flirting with, like saying, oh yeah, so why did that end? I bet I could be... He said to this girl that he was my sugar daddy. That's what he literally said. And do you know how much that hurt my feelings? I know that he offered to buy lots of stuff for me, and I kept saying, no, don't, I don't feel comfortable with you buying me this coffee, I don't feel comfortable with you buying me this tea, blah blah blah, I don't feel comfortable with you buying me a phone for Christmas. Well, him telling this girl that he was basically my sugar daddy really fucked me off, because it made me feel like I was cheap, like I could be easily bought by anyone, and that's not the truth. I went with him because I liked him, not because of the stuff he offered to buy for me. So that upset me hugely, so that fucked me off. I think the reason why it took me so long to get over this guy, and I still can't comprehend everything. Like, it's been months, and because of my OCD I'm still latched onto it, thinking, oh, I could have done this to keep a relationship, or why did he do this, did I do something wrong, you know, am I not pretty enough, like, did I never not try hard enough with the way I looked, did I say something wrong, do something wrong. But even now, like, I think the reason why I'm still struggling, I'm not struggling to get over him, I'm over him, but I'm struggling to forget about it all and trust other people, is because I still have his friends on my Facebook, and I love his friends are lovely, but every time I see their posts, I will look and see who's liked it or laughy reacted, in case it's him that I've blocked, because I blocked him. In case I see somebody laughy reacted and there's no name, then I know he's laughy reacted to it. And that's how my mind's working at the moment. I'm just like, I want to know what he's doing, but I don't want to be around him because he's such a cunt. I messaged him constantly for months, then I gave it a break, messaged him constantly again, gave it a break, messaged him constantly again, and I recently messaged him constantly again, and then stopped, and then 4 days ago I sent him a message and he blocked me straight away, which I'm thankful for, because usually he'll talk to me for a bit, even though he gets shitty, he talks to me for a bit and then blocks me because I tell him to. But because he blocked me straight away, that sort of said to me, I really, really, really do need to know my self-worth. Like, he was horrible. It really upset me. Made me feel like everyone's just going to cheat. Everyone's just going to... He said to me he never did cheat. But to be honest, I don't know if he did. And I don't know if he just completely, like, immediately started talking to that girl. I think he literally... Because he said to me as well that she recently just started getting involved with his group, back in the group, he said, and straight after we broke up. So I reckon that literally on the day we broke up, she was messaging him. he also said that she messaged me first. And the funny thing is, he turned a day or two before we broke up. He turned in the way he was talking to me. Just fucktard, basically. He's come. So I won't go on to the other dickhead that I went with, because he's not that much of a dickhead, and I don't think it's fair to really talk about him. I've been with a few other people, but they're not dickheads. So yeah, so basically that is my story of Some Men Are Arseholes. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed, give it a like, share it with your friends if you want, to let them know that they're not the only person that are being treated like a mug. And I'll see you next time. Bye.